The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specialising in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The news.
B plus.
Alright, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It's Aussie Grapps Day here on the B Plus podcast. It's our favourite day at the B Plus. It's the day we sit down and talk about everything happening in the world of Australian professional wrestling. We also like to have a chat with an Aussie grappler or grappler adjacent person. This week, I sat down with King Shahil, the Malaysian warlord out of New Horizons Pro Wrestling over in Perth. He's also the singer for a band called Idol Eyes. They are fantastic if you're into hardcore music. Pause this, go listen to Idol Eyes, then come back and listen to the interview with King Shahil with a whole new eye, ear, whatever, because he's a fantastic musician as well as a wrestler and well worth checking out if you're into that style. But before we get to the interview, let's take a look at this week in Aussie Grapps news. Gonna be honest with you guys, there's not a whole lot to discuss this week. I don't know if it's just been my feed. I don't know what's been going on, but there's not been a lot. Like, there's the usual match announcements and all these sorts of things rolling out and hype videos and everything. And I was going to do a bit of a talk about how great Australians are getting at hype video packages. We had the Kingsley and Bonza video this week where the prefects were told that they have a match coming up with Kingsley, and they ran off before they could get the full information, which was that it's actually a tag match with the Red Nation, including Jack Bonza. And they did this really cool video in a coffee shop. It's fantastic. It's well worth checking out. And that's indicative of the standard of videos coming out, of hype videos and sort of little promo packages coming out in Australia. Rat Daddy is someone who's producing amazing content. PWA, all their stuff is gold at the moment. Like the starting back with the Maddie Wahlberg stuff with the Jimmy Havoc build and all of that. Australian video production is getting insane. Avery just did one where she broke out of prison, right? John Moxley style, but way better, way more Australian. It was fantastic. And I was going to talk about that for a while and sort of break down a few videos and put links and all that sort of thing. But the chat that I had with King Shahil went a little longer than I normally would. And we just sort of, it went in all kinds of wild directions as well. So I was going to fill the slow news week with that, but the King Shahil chat went a little bit longer. So we're just going to roll the interview soon. But there are two pieces of news I want to talk about. Craven out of Perth, he's wrestled for EPW, he's wrestled for Schwa, he's wrestled for AAW famously, and a former guest of the show, Craven. Big fan of his, and he is moving to Adelaide. So he's got bookings with Adelaide Championship Wrestling, with Riot City Wrestling, and apparently he's moving here for a while, and then he's going to be taking off somewhere else. But it's really cool to see wrestlers sort of moving around the country and getting work in more places. I'm a big fan of it. Of course, Craven, famous for going overseas. He was the first Australian wrestler to wrestle for The Crash, where Adam Brooks has now wrestled for The Crash and went on to work CMLL, which you would have heard about if you listened to last week's interview that Mr. Mysterious did with Adam Brooks. But Craven moving to Adelaide, this is big for me personally because I get to see more Craven matches live and in person, which I really am looking forward to. And the other top news, I've waited a bit longer to record this than normal. Normally I record this Thursday night, but Thursday night PWA sent out a tweet and they're like, we're going to reveal the prize for the Coliseum tournament tomorrow. So I waited until Friday morning to record this because I wanted to talk about what the PWA Coliseum prize is. And it's another sword. Green Thunder. It's a badass looking fucking sword. It looks kind of more like a machete almost. It's got the serrated edges a little bit. I mean, I know not all machetes have serrated edges, but you get what I'm saying. And I feel like this sword is built for Maddie Wahlberg. Have you seen Survivor? You know the damage he can do with a machete? I mean, they haven't really shown him with a machete, but I'm imagining, yeah, he would have gotten pretty handy with a machete while he was over on that island. So this just solidifies in my mind that the number 2 entrant to the Coliseum, Maddie Wahlberg, is going to win. We're going to find out who number 3 is on Sunday, and my prediction may change, but it probably won't, because Maddie Wahlberg's been my prediction since before the tournament was even announced. I was like, when they do the next Coliseum, Maddie Wahlberg's going to win it, and I'm sticking by it. I'll put money on it if there are bets. If there's a betting site taking bets for PWA, I will put my money on it. If there's a betting site that wants to run ads, you can't run ads in Australia with gambling sites, can you? Never mind. I listen to other podcasts and there's always ads for betting sites, and I thought that'd be a good market, but no. Alas, we cannot do that in Australia. Thanks, government. Now let's take a look at the interview that I did this week with King Shahil. This goes in all sorts of crazy directions. We're going to talk about the shape of the earth. We're going to talk about whether Kurt Cobain is transgender or not. A lot of talk about music and touring and being a wrestler, obviously, because this is a wrestling podcast. It seems like we may have forgotten that halfway through, but we bring it back and we talk about wrestling a whole bunch. Enjoy the interview with King Shahil, and I'll hit you after the break with what's happening near you.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Grapps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Joining me now by the magic of the internet, and we just did a bunch of stuff that wasn't recorded, and I'm going to have to try to find a way to bring it up in the interview, all the way from Perth, King Shahil. How you doing, brother?
Yo, good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like, just from our little pre-match banter that we've had. Like, I'm looking forward to this chat, because you're someone who blends a couple of different worlds that I'm very invested in. You're not just a pro wrestler.
Yeah, I also am like a professional gardener. Yeah.
What do you use to weed effectively?
Hose.
Hose? All about them hose.
Wait, is this thing PG?
No, it is not. We gave up on that a long time ago. We talk to wrestlers, man.
Yeah, I've not met a wrestler who does not have a little bit of a fucked up mind. So
yeah, no, you have to be a little bit fucked up to get into wrestling, right?
Yeah. Sometimes like someone normal comes through the doors, I'm like, man, you're not gonna last.
You're not gonna last. No.
What are you doing here, bro? Like, don't let this corrupt you.
Because wrestling is a death wish. Like, to get into wrestling, you have to, on some level, have a bit of a death wish.
A little bit. Yeah, I definitely see some guys out there. Like, I've met a few weird people who are just like, hurt me more.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not really here to do that. I'm pretending to, but...
Have you come across Nick Golfus yet from Adelaide?
No.
Because he is someone who in my brief chats with him, I'm like, I guarantee you this dude has like a death wish. Like, if you propose to him, like, oh, I want you to do a death match, he would be like, I'm all for it. Which, like, death matches would be my hard line. Like, if I was a wrestler, like, that's not happening.
Oh, man, there's, like, two different types of people with that. Like, some people, like, they see a little bit of blood come out of their mouth, and they're like, oh, no, stop the match. And then there's other people like me, and most people I've met, where it's like, oh, now it's fucking game time. Like, let's turn this shit up, nerds.
That's insane.
Nick Golfus. He sounds like my type of guy because apparently I hit too hard. So
Yeah, well, is there such a thing as hitting too hard in wrestling?
I don't know. I guess if you got like knocked out in the first 10 seconds of a match, you maybe want to pull back a little bit.
No, but
I
like
guess, but...
like you can hit hard but still hit safely, right? Like if you're knocking someone out, that's just hitting unsafely. Which I mean, accidents happen, of course, but yeah.
I've gotten some stingers before, but like I didn't get into it thinking that I'm not going to get hit once or twice every now and then. So.
No, of course. Like, because I remember when I have trained, like you lay it in. Like you have to lay it in. Otherwise, it looks awful.
Well, like we live in a day and age where everyone's trying to spot the fakeness. And to me, like the best way to avoid making anything look bad is just to give it something.
Yeah. Definitely. Make it as real as you possibly can. Well, let's start at the beginning, man. Let's get the King Shahil story, right? So, where did your love of pro wrestling come from? What got you into pro wrestling? And then when along that line did you decide I'm going to go learn how to throw myself at the ground really hard?
I've always been like a fan, like a low-key fan. Like I remember like being really young. My first memory of like really just like falling in love with wrestling was seeing Mankind and The Rock doing that. I think it was the I Quit match.
Right, with the chair shots?
Yeah, just like, and I was like, oh man, why are these guys doing this? Like, I've been in like a little fight with my brother and you wouldn't do that for real, but why do I love this? And then kind of like plodded along watching bits and pieces where I could, because like we didn't really have a lot of money growing up, so we didn't have Foxtel and it wasn't on free to air, so I just kind of got it where I could. So I was like, borrowing like DVDs off friends or I think I even did some VHSs at one point.
Yeah, were you a Blockbuster kid?
But...
Civic Video?
Oh yeah. I was Blockbuster all the way, loyal to the grave.
We had a Civic Video that turned into a Blockbuster, and I remember being disgusted. And I don't know what, like I was a kid. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm just like, oh, Blockbuster. Like, why isn't this Civic Video anymore? Yeah, so
it is a dog-eat-dog world out there, and no one is safe.
That's where I got into like ECW though and stuff, like from the VHS tapes at Blockbuster.
Yeah, I think that I was like pretty big into ECW when I was younger. I mean, I fell off like the wrestling train when I was kind of early high school, as most people does, because like everyone's kind of taking the piss, and you don't want to be that guy. But I was low-key watching it on like the earliest memories of YouTube. I was looking up any wrestling I could find, so I got like super into like TNA, ECW, like older stuff, WCW, just anything I could find I was watching. And then I never really felt like I was ever going to try doing it, because I was always a big dude, like I was never a fitness guy. I hated sports. I'd do anything to not be in physical education classes. Like, oh, sick. Oh, I can't do this against my religion or some shit. And then I've always loved the performance aspect. But as I got a bit older, I started getting into like working out and like lifting weights and doing cardio, and then idolized my band that we didn't really mention. But I'm not.
We tried to, but then we didn't.
I'm not. I tried to make a joke, but we took like kind of like a year, because everyone had their own thing on besides me, because like really all I had up until that point was my band. And then, the guys were finishing uni and moving out and blah, blah, blah. So like me and a few of other mates just said, hey, why don't we try to wrestle? And I was like super like not into the idea at first, because I was like, like I'm big, I'm not a bodybuilder, like I don't look physically impressive. And I was like, fuck that, man. Like, have you ever seen Rikishi? Like,
yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I think like Kevin Owens was coming up at the time, and I was like, fuck, big boys can do this. And I've always been like a big Samoa Joe fan.
Yeah. So
I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and give it a go. And me and like 4 dudes all went, Forever Guys, we went down to one of the New Horizons open days. And I fell in love with it. Like, I remember doing all my warm-ups, like all the cardio and stuff that they blow you up with before you get in the ring, just the biggest grin on my face. And like my trainer Mana was like, what are you smiling at? I'm like, there's a fucking wrestling ring right there, man. Like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Because it was just like the first steps. I think I was playing basketball at the time, and me and one of the guys was playing basketball. We're going to start training after that season. And I'm not talking like professional basketball. I'm talking like D division socials.
Yeah.
where you see all the fights in action.
Right. We've established you weren't naturally athletic.
No, I was not into any of that. Like, I just didn't see any reason for me to be doing that.
Yeah.
But I got pretty into like the whole like fitness stuff because I had some bung knees from a skateboarding incident when I was in high school, and that sounds way cooler than it is. But it was literally I was going down a hill and I forgot to ask how to stop before I learned. So I like put one of my legs down and the other one stayed on the skateboard, and like my knee.
Is this like traditional skateboarding or like bombing hills on a longboard?
Yeah, the second one. That's not as cool.
Right. What? Not as cool, man. I love longboarding.
I don't know, man. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was pretty sick, and I always wanted to do that. I was too scared. My balance was so bad back then.
I didn't have the hand-foot coordination. That was my thing.
Yeah. I
don't even know.
I had a foot-eye.
Yeah.
Foot-eye coordination. Both my knees were kind of bung, so I started working out with like a personal trainer to like do like rehab on both my knees. And then just kept going in the like fitness direction because I was like, you know what? I used to feel shit when I woke up in the morning, and now I feel pretty good. So I just got super into that.
That's good.
Which led me to want to actively pursue trying to wrestle. And yeah, like within that year of the idolized kind of not doing anything, I was like, fell in love with it and didn't realize how time consuming and life consuming it was. But
yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah. And now I'm just trying to juggle both, and it's like, yeah, I get along with it. It's cool for now.
How did you find the New Horizons pro wrestling school, the Slaughterhouse, I guess they call it, right?
Slaughterhouse, yeah. So, like, before we started training, we were aware that there was local companies because one of the guys that started with us, he was just like the super fan like of wrestling, so he knew that there was local companies, and we were like, let's go and check them all out and decide which one we want to train with. So I went to like several different shows in Perth, kind of got talking to a few people, and when I talked to some of the guys at NH, and just the show overall was the one that kind of stuck out to me as like the one that I liked the most. So yeah, we just Googled it and got in contact on Facebook, and then just went down, did the tryout, and just like fell in love.
Yeah, sick. And so, I mean, you talked about not necessarily being like into physical educational stuff until later. Was it like the creativity that drew you to it more, do you think?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I've always been a show pony, like, ever since I was a young kid, like, drama, like, class.
Yeah.
I remember, like, we didn't have drama at school until, like, year 5. And then, like, they started up this whole drama thing, and all the guys were like, I don't want to do that, like, it's stupid. And I was just like, nah, this is my jam. Like, I love this. I like acting and, like, creating something out of nothing. To me, like, I've always been, like, into that. Like, one of the guys that really just drew me into wrestling was Shawn Michaels, like, had all his old crazy entrances with, like, the crazy outfits and the fireworks and the poses and all the pageantry. That was, like, what I was into originally with wrestling. And that's what kind of, like, I thought would be what I could do good, or do well.
Yeah,
I do pageantry good. But yeah, that was the whole thing that got me into wrestling, was just that over the top, like, larger than life kind of attitude. And
yeah,
I was like, this is me. Like, that's how I've been since I was a young child.
Yeah, and so being able to develop a character and stuff, right? And so in the intro, like I said, you are King Shahil. You are the Malaysian warlord. So where did that whole thing come from?
So the name King Shahil, that's like, that literally came to me like 20 minutes before my first match. Because when I debuted, like just at like a little house show, my trainer said, what do you want to be called? And we discussed like some ideas of characters. I was super high on the Finn Balor demon stuff at the time. So I was like, I want to be spooky, man. I want to be so spooky. So originally I was going to be called, because I've got the Malaysian heritage, and I really wanted to work that in because I didn't know of any Malaysian wrestlers at the time. I didn't know, there's no one else in Perth that's got Malaysian heritage. So I was like, I'm going to roll with it,
Yeah.
And then we came up with the name Hantu, which means ghost in Malay. And I was like, oh, that's cool and spooky. Like, so spooky, man. And then, like, 20 minutes before my first match, like, that was probably, like, I don't know, a couple of hours, my trainer rolled up to me and he said, oh, what does Shah mean? Because everyone just calls me Shah. And I was like, it's literally just short for Shahil, but the word Shah translates to king in a few different languages, like in the Middle East. And he's like, oh, King Shahil, that sounds sick. That's your name. I was like, oh, sick.
Yeah. Nice.
And I was like, fucking just put me at the top as a king. Hell yeah.
So there was
kind of
you originally wanted to be a ghost and be like spooky, and then you're like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna be royalty. That's
yeah, pretty much. Like he still said, you know, go out there, do your thing, like do what you want to do with your character, and we'll develop it over time. So I'm still doing the spooky stuff, and I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I could find some really old footage of that, but it wasn't good. it was just me like trying to be like hell a spooky dude, but really it was just kind of like the crowd didn't get it. Like it made so much sense in my head, but then I realized, and like it's probably gonna blow some people's fucking minds, but like not everyone can hear what you're thinking.
yeah.
As I had to sit down after I fucking realized that. And then like the character just kind of developed where like King wasn't as much as a title when I was playing a heel, yeah. But it kind of just became my name. So now like people just call me King or Shah. Like it's not like you're the king of this or the king of that. It's just kind of like, you know, like King from Tekken.
Yeah.
Like it's just his name, you know, like and then like the whole Malaysian warlord thing, it was just need a cool tagline, man. And I was like, well, Malaysian, I don't want to be like Malaysian royalty or anything like that. And I was like, you know, like where else do you find kings? And I was like, yo, within the realms of, you know, like oh, fuck, I can't even think of the word.
Like on the battlefield, they lead the armies into
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounded like something like, you know, if you're a king but you're also the fucking warlord, it's like, oh man, this guy's not someone you want to fuck with.
Yeah, like the tribal kind of thing. Have you thought of like bringing in like I don't know if you know much about like the Malaysian, like because you said you wanted to do the spooky stuff or whatever. Have you thought about like bringing in like Malaysian mythology and stuff like the Finn Balor thing? Like it's a lot based on like Irish demonology and stuff. I don't know anything about Malaysian mythology or anything, but I know the Philippines and Japan and like a bunch of the Asian characters have some of the most fucked up myths and like demons and spirits and stuff.
Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit. I've done a little bit of research. Like even before I ever started any of this, I was researching a lot of Malaysian like culture, and there's stuff that I definitely want to do down the track. But it's such a niche thing. Like with Malaysia, you know, like you show someone like a picture of like a hanya or an oni, like the Japanese demon masks, and everyone's like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Malaysian is a bit different, and I'm truly trying to find something that I can zero in on and make, like I can translate into a wrestling environment. But like I'm doing a little bit more of the spooky stuff nowadays, like with a few of my matches, not all of them, but more like the ends of feuds and stuff, and like where it's a hate match, like I'll come out and my demeanor will be changed.
Yeah.
A lot more like serious and stuff like that, which is like kind of what I want to go for eventually.
Yeah. You're someone like you change up your look a lot too, right? And like you started doing the SoundCloud rapper face tattoo stuff.
Yeah. That's just me though. Like I'm very much not a content person with like image at all. Like to me, it's like I want to create this visual like representation of what King Shahil is that day or that night or for that match.
Right.
And that's forever changing, you know, like I'm doing the braids now every now and then, but I'm really trying to keep the braids in as just like a title match where I've really got to make sure like my focus is on the match and not trying to get my hair out of my face. And the sound, like the rapper tattoo under the eye thing, like I was just for one of my matches, it was like the blow off of a feud with me and Vincent Sterling. I just thought it'd be cool to write revenge under my eye because I was like, you know, we did an angle where he slapped my girlfriend.
Right.
So it was like, I'm trying to get back at him and he kept coming at me. So I just put it there as like a reminder of why I'm here. And a lot of people just came up and said they thought it looked cool and they were like, you look like a rapper. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm going to keep doing it. So the first time I did it was like super hard because I was like, I'll just get like a makeup pen and write it. That's so much harder to do in a mirror than it is to not do it in a mirror.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to just not do it at all, really. But
because you're like in the mirror, you're trying to write it like in reverse, sort of, like almost, yeah.
I think I ended up getting Lena Cross to do it the first time because I also had to borrow her makeup. like her like eyeliner pen.
Nice.
Yeah, she's the home girl. Like she hooks me up with all the plugs all the time. I'm like, hey, I need some makeup or something, and she's like, gotcha. And I'm like, I need a hair straightener, and she's like, gotcha. And I need some perfume, and she got me. So she's
Lena Cross, good brother.
Oh, Lena Cross is the goodest of all the brothers. She's always got that plug for me. And then I bought this little like what's it called, stamp set. So now like I sit there next to her waiting for her to finish with her mirror, so I can do my stamps.
one of those little round, those little makeup mirror things.
Yeah,
and you're like, sharing it backstage. I'm just trying to get the visual.
Oh yeah, it's like she's kind of doing her makeup, like glamming herself the fuck out, and I'm just like, yo, you done yet? I've got to write my word on, and my match
I need to make myself look like a thug.
Yeah, exactly. And like what she doesn't understand is that her bringing it and lending it to me all the time is actually bad for me, because now I don't have to get my own. And if
you're listening, Lena,
yeah, like for real, like how about you let me grow up?
Yeah.
Like stop lending me stuff, because I'm clearly not learning from my mistakes of not bringing my own shit.
Stop enabling Shah.
Exactly. Like that's what people just don't understand. Like she's such a bitch. But like to be honest, if she doesn't have it, like Salem Six, who wrestles with us, has one as well. So I just go to him.
yeah.
I got plugs. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. But you're not a SoundCloud rapper, right? You have the tattoo thing, the gimmick going on, but the music you play is very much not that.
No, definitely not. Like, eventually I probably will become a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
But right now, my band, we play melodic hardcore, bordering on the edge of emo, because like mental health is something that's really big for me. And that's mainly what we sing about. And, you know, when I was a kid, I was angrier. All I listened to was hardcore and metal. So I was like, that's what I was into. So that's the type of band I started.
Right. Because being the good podcast interviewer that I am, I did my research. I was listening to your band, to Idle Eyes, and I fucking loved it, dude. Like, it reminds me of like the 2012 to 14 emo revival with like Citizen, Basement, Title Fight, and that sort of stuff, but with like way harder vocals. I was digging it.
Thank you. Like that's pretty much the vibe we want to go for. I just can't sing very well, so and
so SoundCloud rapper could be in your future.
Oh, definitely. Like, I think the worse at singing you are at SoundCloud rap, then the better.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it's all emo tinged now too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll fit right in.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the stuff Idolize does, it's very much just about like my mental health and struggles that I think a lot of people can connect with, but not a lot of people know how to talk about them. And it took me a very long time to figure out how to talk about all that stuff and openly discuss like my lyrics. Like every time someone used to ask me like, oh, what's this song about? I'd be like, just like, I don't really want to talk about it. Whereas now, like, I've been doing it for so long, and I've been in so many different mindsets, and like I've been through so much that other people have also been through, that I feel way more comfortable talking about that type of thing openly. And I don't feel like I need to hide it anymore. Like I used to be like such a jerk with like my lyric book. Like if someone would pick it up, I'd just bounce on them and just like get it off. Like, get away from my lyrics. You can hear it when the song's out. Yeah, exactly. Like even though I'm broadcasting it to as big of an audience as we possibly can, I feel awkward when it's like a one-on-one thing and like someone's just sitting there reading my lyrics. I'm like, it's so bad out of context.
So you're like one step worse than Jesse Lacey. Like, because when the brand new demo tapes or whatever for was it for Daisy? No, it was for Devil and God. When the tapes came out and he was like, well, now we have to rewrite the entire fucking album. You're like, if someone looks at my book, I need to rewrite everything.
Yeah, like just get away from it. You're not allowed to see this, or like, and don't ask me about it even once the song's released, because I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah,
you're like, figure it out yourself. Like,
you're like an analog clock. Work it out yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm a lot more comfortable with all that now, just because I think I've just done it enough, and like, I'm really over a lot of the phases of my life that I wrote about.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to talk about, and I think like especially like when we get emails or like people message me and say, "Hey man, your lyrics really helped me throughout like something," like that means the world to me, and I feel like I owe it to anyone that can connect with our music and lyrics to be able to discuss openly about that type of thing,
and to be able to be open and honest with it, right? Well, I mean, 'cause that's
exactly.
what music is very healing.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
And
like,
so
that's...
people can connect around that and sort of find healing through that. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And anything that I write or the band writes, I don't like it to be like, what's this about? Because for me, it's about something. It's very personal to me, and I needed to write it. But for you, if that helps you with something completely different, that's fine. Like, I don't like that, like, something needs to be specific about. There's no right or wrong answer to what lyrics are about.
Yeah, because if they mean something to you, like I came across something on Twitter the other day about there's like a whole thing with people thinking that Kurt Cobain was maybe secretly transgender and had gender dysphoria. Yeah. And like it sounds a little bit ridiculous on one level, but then when you read some of these people's posts about it, it's like, man, they're connecting with this, and they're like, some of them are a little obnoxious about it, and they're like, I refuse to call Kurt Cobain anything but she, and it's like, okay, let her decide that, not you. And she kind of can't because she's dead. But it's one of those things where like if someone connects to a particular line or whatever in a specific way, like that's important to them, and that's important for their healing. And so like you just let it be,
Yeah, and I don't see why. Like, I saw all those tweets and stuff, and I was like, like, why does this matter? Like, if Kurt Cobain was trans, and, we obviously didn't find out, like, the music that Kurt left behind is, like, it can resonate with anyone. And why does it need to be right or wrong whether someone acknowledges that you think, because of the way that you've comprehended it, that Kurt was trans? And, like, I've got nothing against anyone being like that, but I feel so weird about, like this whole thing where if this is my opinion, this is right and yours is wrong.
Yeah, this is the correct way for the world to view this thing, because that's how I view it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't think Kurt Cobain would have cared. No. I don't think.
Well, I think he'd be glad that it's helping someone through.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, for that part. But I feel like if Kurt Cobain was trans, still alive, then he would have come out on his own. I don't think he would have really felt the need to hide that.
Yeah.
But that's just the way I comprehend.
I want to try to spin it. I want to try to spin it. This is conspiracy, Greg talk. I want to try to spin it into a conspiracy theory that really he didn't die and he just swapped places with Courtney Love.
Kurt Cobain is Courtney Love.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love, same person.
And Dave Grohl is Courtney Love. Wait, Courtney Love is Dave Grohl.
Yeah, so then Courtney Love took Dave Grohl's because she's also trans, I suppose. We are getting so far away from everything, it's ridiculous.
But then who is Dave Grohl? The devil. That's what Tenacious D Pick of Destiny was about. Holy shit.
That's what it was about. That's what it was
tweet about this, man.
Oh, man. Do it. The people need to know.
Yeah,
the people need to know
that they're wrong and I'm right. Like, that's what that argument seems like to me. Is like, I figured something out for me and my beliefs, therefore, like, everyone else is wrong. And that's like, to me, that's like the same mindset as like someone who's like super into like religion and tries to push that on everyone. And it's like,
where do you stand? Where do you stand on the shape of the Earth?
Oh, look, I haven't been to space yet. Like,
good answer. Okay, good answer. I'm an Earth shape agnostic.
I don't believe that Earth likes to identify as any shape. It just is. Like, I read into a little bit about the whole flat Earth theory, and to me, the true belief system of anyone that is a flat earther is more about the fact that the shape of the Earth doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
The flat Earth theory, I don't know if this is just one take on it, is that the Earth is actually, like, our knowledge of Earth is under a dome.
Yeah.
That's why it's flat. Like it could be any, like it could be like some obtuse, like rectangular, shaped like a dick, maybe kind of fucking like. But I don't think the shape of the Earth, unfortunately for me, that's not something that's really high on my priority list.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm an agnostic about it, man. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
exactly.
matter.
I'm not gonna misshape like gender assigned the Earth.
Yeah, but there was a documentary on Netflix that I watched, and it was fucking badass, and it had AJ Styles in it for a split second.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
He's
because
hella into that, eh?
yeah, apparently him and Flip Gordon, they're both flat earthers. But it's good to know that you're on the it doesn't matter train, because that's where I'm at too. Let's bring it back to wrestling with AJ Styles. Who are some of your biggest influences in, I guess, wrestling and music, like in just your creative endeavors as a whole?
I guess like with wrestling, like the guy that really got me like hooked was Shawn Michaels, HBK. Like just the fact that he knew how to perform as well as put on a show, and work an amazing match. That like I didn't understand psychology before I fucking started wrestling. I hate the term psychology in wrestling because it's like fans don't think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays they do, but when I was a kid watching wrestling, I was like, oh man, this guy did not sell that headlock properly. It was just the fact that he could make me connect to that match. Like that was the biggest thing for me. So Shawn Michaels is like probably my number one. Same exact thing with Eddie Guerrero. Definitely one of my top guys of all time. Like, and then like more lately, like I got super into Shinsuke Nakamura before I started wrestling. And Samoa Joe has always been like one of my top dudes, just because like he holds it down for the big boys.
Nice.
And like with music, it's like I'm so all over the place with music. Like people think like, oh, Shah's in a hardcore band, he must listen to a lot of hardcore. Like I listen to fuck all hardcore. Like I listen to the same hardcore now that I listened to when I was in like high school. So like Defeater is probably one of my top bands that we grew inspiration off. Like we used to cover them and shit. Have Heart, definitely a big one as well. A Verse, like there's so many just like hardcore bands, like the crucial ones that like I'm like your stereotype of like, hey, he likes hardcore, so he must like these bands. Like I'm that guy, like,
right?
I'm so bad, but I listen to like a lot of metal, mostly Metallica, to be honest. Like mostly Metallica and like Bullet for My Valentine and like a lot of emo stuff, like the Used and Bullet. What's the other one? Brand New, big one as well. But I'm super into rap too, so
yeah. It's a bit of everything.
Yeah, like, to me, I don't really like labeling or comparing any music because music is, what's the word I'm looking for? Music is for, like, anyone to enjoy. You know, I don't believe there's ever been a bad song written.
Yeah,
because,
so it's subjective, right? Like much like wrestling, it's
like,
most art is all art is subjective.
Every art is subjective, and I think a lot of people lose that, especially when you get into the world of music or wrestling or art. Like you just kind of get so tunnel vision in what you're into.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm very much just like, you know, like I like music that most people think is the absolute shits. Like I love music in general, and to me, if one person enjoys a song in the entire world, then that is a good song.
Yeah,
it's good to that person.
There's so much snobbery in both music and wrestling.
Yeah,
right?
it's just
what's his Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is basically that metal guy who's like, metal hasn't been good since 1992. Like,
yeah, like I'm actually a Jim Cornette mark, and I'll admit that. But like Jim Cornette says himself, this is my opinion. Whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But like, you know, people want to hear my opinion, so I'm going to talk about it. And I don't agree with everything that dude says, just like I don't agree with everything that like wrestlers say. Like, you can be the best fucking wrestler in the world. If you come at me and like tell me Shawn Michaels is not a good wrestler, I'd be like, are you sure? Like, Shawn Michaels could say that to me, and I'd be like, fuck you, man. Like, don't you ever talk about him like that again. But again, like I'm very like chill. I'm very wrapped up in my own world that other people's opinions on stuff like that, it doesn't really faze me a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if someone enjoys something for whatever reason, it does not matter. You don't know their life. You don't know their story. You don't know why they enjoy it. So let them be. Like,
yeah.
as long as it's not fucking with anyone else's life, then everyone should be just be like into what they're into.
Yeah, live and let live, man. So look, if you're a big Jim Cornette mark, you must love having Supreme Lee, right? The angry wrestling vet.
I thought that was kayfabe. Do people know about that?
Do
Like
people...
that's him? I don't know. I should probably just ask him.
Should I edit
saw
it
him
then?
tonight,
I can edit this and just be like the angry wrestling vet.
I honestly do not know if that's something that he kayfabes or not. Like I can ask him when I see him next. But yeah, it's great having him around because you can learn off anybody in wrestling, but that doesn't mean you should learn off everybody. You know, and he's someone that. Again, I hear some of the stuff he says, and I'm like, fucking love that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to take inspiration from that. And then some stuff, and this is with everyone, I'm like, that's not for me. That doesn't really apply to me or what I'm trying to do as a wrestler.
Right.
You know? And it's nothing like out of this world. Like, hey, you shouldn't try and hurt people. I'm like, no, fuck you, man. That's my fucking goal. Like, that's how I'm getting over, my bad. It's like tiny little things like this is the way this should be. And I'm like, yeah. It works for you. It doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great. He's great to have around. Very, very lovely gentleman as well. I hope he doesn't kayfabe about actually being an angry wrestling vet because he's one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. No,
I'm pretty sure he kind of dropped the veil. I'm pretty sure, like, because he talks about like the stunt studio he runs and stuff like on. Like, I remember that stuff from his Facebook page, so I'm pretty sure it's not kayfabe. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's got pictures of himself on that Facebook page, actually.
Yeah. It was kayfabed in the beginning, but then he did, like, the big reveal, who is the angry wrestling vet, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy as well, because even before I started wrestling, like, I saw posts from angry wrestling vet. I was like, man, this guy, like, why would anyone want to be a wrestler? And now, like, I know the dude, and, like, we train, like, he's trained me, and, it's just kind of crazy how like small the world is.
Yeah, for those who don't know, this is the guy that trained Mickey Rourke for the wrestler, and he's hanging out in New Horizons Pro Wrestling from time to time doing sessions. You guys have some amazing just like guests come through, right? Like Jay Lethal just did some sessions with you guys. Low Key,
yeah,
Soraya Knight,
yeah. Like we are very very fortunate, and even like head trainer Mana, the Polynesian warrior,
of course,
he is an absolute world of knowledge. And these are just like his friends from when he came up in the States.
Yeah.
So like all those names that you just dropped, like Jay Lethal, that was like one of the best fucking seminars I've ever been to. Like that dude was way too fucking nice, and he was way too eager. Like I don't wake up and think like when I go to these seminars, I'm not like, yeah, I'm gonna tussle it with Jay Lethal today. I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Like. And then all of a sudden, I'm punching Jay Lethal. I'm like, oh fuck, man, I don't want to fuck this up. Like, same with like Soraya. Like, I didn't do her most recent seminar, but I did the one prior to that. And like, holy shit! Like the amount that she knows about the manipulation of the human body is just like crazy. You know, like I'm a big dude, you know, and she put me on the ground like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Same as Supremely Great, actually. Like.
They stretch you into nothing. Like, it's that old school mentality.
Yeah, it's just like the way that they know these things, but they don't have to use them. Loki was awesome as well. Like, he just came down. I think he did about a week or two's worth of just trainings with us. And he was like a world of knowledge as well in more than just the wrestling aspect, but like the mentality of like how he handles his business and all that kind of stuff was really cool to learn about, as well as just like, you know, like how he prepares for matches, stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
it's really cool.
Did you ask him if he's going to go into like anime voiceover work?
No, but he should.
Like he definitely should. Like that's his actual voice.
It is, and I thought that it was like a gimmick.
You thought it was a worked voice?
I thought it was like he puts it on a little bit more for the camera and stuff, which, you know, like don't we all? But he was just like such a nice dude to talk to as well. Like we were just because I was just about to go on a trip to the States before when he came down, so I was just talking to him about the States, and he was just, you know, telling me places to hit up and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
areas
amazing
to avoid.
Yeah. So have you done much traveling? I know you've just gotten back from Southeast Asia with the band. Have you done much traveling with the wrestling yet?
Not really, to be honest. Like when I went to the States, like me and my girlfriend went on a holiday because I always wanted to go to a WrestleMania live.
Yeah.
So we did that, but we also just we're like, you know what, we're gonna be in that country, so we may as well see a fair bit of it. So we did like 7 weeks in the States, and I was hoping to pick up some wrestling, some shows or something, but I think I left it too late, so
Yeah.
I just didn't really get onto it. I was lucky enough to do a seminar while I was there. That was pretty much the only wrestling I've done outside of WA.
Right. So even like interstate, man, like I've talked to a number of people, and they're just like I was talking to Todd Eastman the other day, and he's just like, his advice for wrestlers in Australia is go everywhere and train everywhere. Like go, because the PWA Academy and stuff, like in Sydney and whatnot, you just if you fly yourself over there and shoot them a message, like they'll be like, yeah, come in for a couple of weeks and just hang out and train and shit.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're looking to do, like to get around a bit and sort of break out of WA?
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't see, like, a lot of people ask me why I don't wrestle like with every company in WA, and like the simplest answer is that like I don't really see much point, because WA is like the smallest community ever. The people that go to shows in WA are essentially the same fans. With like, there's fans that are loyal to brands, which I think is weird, because it's like you're just missing out. You know,
that happens here in Adelaide too. Like the crowds at the different companies are very different, and it's strange. Like there's not a lot of crossover. Like there's very small crossover here. It's weird.
That's I don't understand that, because as a fan, like, you know, I like this whole show, and that's great. But like maybe you go to someone else's show and you might see someone that you like, and then you want to go back to see them again next month or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of getting interstate, like I've just locked down my first interstate trip, so I haven't really spoken to the guy whether I can like announce it yet. But like, I will be going interstate at least once this year.
Nice.
To Sydney, and I'm really hoping to get out to Melbourne at some point this year. I'm talking to a few people over there, and really just trying to like, it's kind of hard because I'm, you know, essentially outside of Perth. Like no one knows who I am. So
yeah,
like I'm emailing places as much as I can, and hopefully getting a response, and just messaging people on Instagram and trying to build up. Like I'm just looking at it the exact same way as Idolize or any band tours, like interstate, like just hitting up people, trying to make some connections and some friends. And I'm happy to sleep on couches and pay my own way over.
Yeah,
you know, like that's
there's so
like,
many parallels between music and wrestling. Because like
100%.
I used to be in a band, and so like I see all the parallels as well. Like we did the whole sleeping on couches, and like we hooked up with bands from other states, and we organized a tour of the whole country with like, you know, we headlined the show in our state, you headlined the show in your state, and like just working it out that way and stuff.
Yeah,
just very DIY.
Yeah, and like that's just, I come from like the hardcore scene, and that's how we do things.
Yeah,
you know, like it's no one's gonna pay for a hardcore band to fly over to stay and then put them up in a swanky hotel, because like, to be honest, there's no money in hardcore. And I've never been in music for money. Like to me, it's just a passion, and the day that you have to convince me to do it is the day I'll quit. Same thing with wrestling. Like I'm more than happy just to like DIY my way over, sleep on the couch. Yeah, I like making friends like that way, like organically, through doing, like sharing a passion. Like I've got so many friends that I've made through music. Like, that's why we did the Singapore trip. The Southeast Asian trip, because the boys in False Plaintiff, just like the singer of that band hit me up one day, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm coming to Perth. Like, are you guys playing? I'd really love to catch a show." I'm like, "Yeah, man, we happen to be playing at that time." Little did I know he was going to change his whole trip to make sure we were playing. And then he messaged me back like a couple of weeks later. He's like, "Hey, man, is this like a nice place to stay?" I'm like, "Wait, bro, do you know anyone here?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, fucking come stay with me. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why don't you just ask that?"
Yeah.
And then, like, he just came and stayed with me. Like, I told my mom that like we were friends and shit, and like he slept on the couch, even though I never met the dude. So like, probably dangerous.
It's pretty risky, yeah.
Maybe this isn't a good mentality to have. But
no, but I understand it. I think I used to be like that, but I have children now, so it kind of changes things. But no, but like, I understand that mentality, man. But so you ended up going over to what, Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore? Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. It was like 3 shows, 3 days, 3 countries. So that was like, and then I came home like the day after and wrestled. I like literally got off the plane, went straight to a venue and wrestled a match. Like
Nice.
That was possibly the craziest 4 days of my life.
That's insane.
Thus far.
Yeah,
But
thus far.
That's
I
that's
that.
the lifestyle I've always wanted to live. Like, I've always wanted to do that type of shit. Like,
Oh, that's the dream, right? A different state every day. Like, that's...
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice if I could sleep on like a bed every night, but like I didn't sleep for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Because like we literally like we got into Philippines, kind of got settled into the hostel, went out, got something to eat, went back to the hostel, got fucking like so drunk. Like that country has $4 beers that are 12% alcohol,
Oh,
or
man.
like stronger, and they're not even like, you know, those big ass cans, like the 500ml big boys.
Yeah.
Like, and we were just smashing them back with false plaintiff.
I remember I remember buying a bottle of vodka, like straight vodka, like a bottle of vodka for the equivalent of $1.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Like I wish that I spent more time in the Philippines, because like I was there for maybe 12 hours, and at least like 5 of those hours I was fucking can't remember.
Yeah.
I was so drunk.
Dude, everyone sleeps on the Philippines, man. People are like, oh, go to Bali. Go to Bali. Fuck that, man. Go to the Philippines.
The most perfect you can do.
The booze, the shopping, there's good wrestling there. There's good music there. One of my like favorite emo bands is from the Philippines. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Bali's
like,
overrated.
I love Bali too, but like Manila was just like a sick, different kind of lifestyle. Like there's definitely a lot going on that we learned about that country while we were in the country, from like just talking to other bands about like their political kind of
stranglehold, like war on drugs and stuff. That whole thing.
And I think that whole situation deters a lot of people from going there.
Yeah.
But the reception that we got, and like just the like hospitality we got from everyone that we met and hung out with, was just like, you can tell that they appreciate that you went out of your way to come there. And, you know, we didn't make any money from that show. We sold a bit of merch and stuff, but we were just like so happy to meet people and hang out and shit. And straight after the show in Philippines, though, like we basically went back to the hostel. We were like, we got 3 hours to sleep. So we didn't sleep. And then back to the airport, got on a plane and flew to Singapore. And Malaysia. And that was the exact same, like, taxi to the hotel, or the hostel. And that was a wild ride. Like, 5 dudes in, like, a 1-bedroom with, like, a couple bunk beds and, like, a toilet in a, like, that it was tiny.
I just want to clarify, you said this is the life you want to live.
Well, like, sections of it. There's parts that I hope with time get a little bit more comfortable. But, no, like, we didn't sleep. Again, it was like we had 5 hours to like maybe get like some nap. But like the way idolize are, we're just mates, and like we're just up all the whole time, just talking shit and like trying to sleep. But then someone would say something, we'll start fucking laughing again. And,
yeah.
And then we went out to eat, and like I honestly, like, I'm Malaysian, like half Malaysian. That was the first time I'd been to Malaysia, and I was there for like 14 hours, but I absolutely fell in love with that country. Like just the food and like the people and like the smells and sights. Like it's like I just felt like I want to be there more.
Yeah,
you know, like because it's stuff that I grew up with, like with that side of my family, but I'm not really inclined into it 100%. You know, but because I was there, I was like, fuck, this is an amazing country. Like, I could move to Malaysia tomorrow if someone asked me. Like, I feel like it'd be cool for me, you know, like, as someone... I think I get a lot of, like, Malaysian wrestlers and wrestling fans follow me because of the whole Malaysian warlord thing.
Right.
And then they'll hit me up and be like, yo, where in Malaysia do you wrestle? I'm like, none.
Actually, yeah.
I wrestle in Perth, Malaysia, Australia. But... So, like, I love that country so much, but I really just got to, like, didn't even get to scratch the surface of it. And then we got on a bus, and that was the first time we'd slept in, like, 3 days. We just were on this bus, and there were big recliner seats, and, like, it was just a unanimous decision that we all did not talk, and we just slept. So I slept, like, 5 hours between Malaysia and Singapore, and like I woke up like once, I looked out the window, I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful, and then just fell back asleep. Like
that's crazy. So you've answered one of my questions then, because I was gonna see if while you were there you managed to catch, but it was so rapid, so there was no way you could have, but catch some of the wrestling that's happening over there.
I would have loved to. Like I there's a guy named Cornelius Lowe from Malaysia, and he was just we just been chatting online and stuff, and he came out to the show that we played, and like we just hung out and got to know each other and stuff, and like he was a real nice dude. Like he's not into hardcore and stuff, but he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go meet this guy and we'll hang out. And like that's the type of thing that I love about this lifestyle is like people just go out of their way just to hang out. Like I just like hanging out with people. It's fun for me.
It's great.
So I didn't get to catch any wrestling. And same with like the Philippines and Singapore. Like I know Philippines has what's the company called?
They've got Philippine Wrestling Revolution.
That's PWR.
Yeah, PWR. That's the big one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. Like they've been making some noise over there, which is cool. And like I wish I got to like get out to a show. Same as like my PW in Malaysia and SPW, Grapple Max and stuff in Singapore. Like I would have loved to have gotten out and like seen a show and made some contacts and just hung out and like met people over there, because like that's just like a world like so separated from ours, but so the same. Yeah, and I'd love to get back out there to do some wrestling for sure in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a scene that's like it's really hot, and like I think that Australia needs to work more with the Southeast Asian scene. Like we see, like I think Shazza McKenzie and a couple of people like Indy Hartwell, maybe I think as well, went over to Singapore Pro Wrestling. They did like a ladies show, and so some of our people went over there, and I think Robbie Eagles just did Malaysia Pro Wrestling, which is sick. And from everything I saw, he had a great time, which doesn't surprise me at all.
I heard he really like helped out. Like my friend that I met over there, he said that he helped out with the show, and like they had some technical difficulties, and so Robbie just like did like a on the spot Q&A with the fans, keep them engaged until it was all sorted. So like that stuff's really cool. And Aaron O'Malley, who wrestles with NHPW, he moved to Malaysia for like 6 months to try and work some stuff with one of the companies that I don't think they're running anymore, but he's gone back over to Singapore to do Grapple Max, and like
nice.
I think it's so cool to see guys get out to Southeast Asia, because like within the hardcore scene, like that's always tied hand in hand. Like if a US band's touring, they do Southeast Asia, then Australia, and then or vice versa. So it's cool to see like that kind of happening within the wrestling industry, and I'd love to get my my foot in the door before it blows up beyond my freaking my depths, which it already has. Like when I first started wrestling, even up until I think like 2 years ago, like I had no idea that there was wrestling over in Southeast Asia, and then like next minute they're just like blown up. Yeah,
and like some of their people have even come here now, right? Like well, there were people advertised for Iron Fist Pro, but that didn't happen. But then there was Eman the Kid has actually moved over here. So I was going to introduce you as my favorite Malaysian wrestler in Australia, but I don't know if I can, because Eman the Kid has moved over here. Talking interstate bookings as well, man. Be good to see you get out to Melbourne and I don't know, work a tag team or work a feud. Just who is?
Hell no. From what you just said, that sounds like we're fighting for your love.
Fight for my love. Do it.
I want you on a pole match. Me versus Iman, because I've seen some stuff from him. He's making some noise over there, and like that's awesome to see. Like someone
he's doing so good. Yeah,
but like straight up, I don't understand why anyone would ever move out of a country where you can just get satay like and eat.
Okay, look, I spent like 24 hours in Malaysia once because of like weather, flying to and from the Philippines, and so we ended up having to stop over, and everything was just ridiculously spicy. Is that just me? Is it just because I'm white?
Maybe. Like I grew up with some spice, but like I'm not one of those people that's like I'm gonna eat the spiciest thing on the menu to prove that I can. Like I just like spices like a flavor.
No, but like literally, like, so what we did was we were like, we don't know any of this food, and so we grabbed like a bit of everything, and it was all just mouth on fire. I'm dying.
Yeah, tu padas, huh? Yeah, that's like I think that means like spicy in Malay. I didn't find it overly spicy, but like I grew up with that type of food. Like my grandma, my dad's side used to cook all that type of stuff, and like the pain receptors definitely grew with me.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna help with the wrestling too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if anyone ever tries to attack me with like some chili sauce, they're done. Because I'll drink that whole bottle. Like,
did you see that there was a YouTube clip going around of like Darby Allin doing the pepper challenge or whatever?
what, in a match?
No, like just like after a show, like him and Priscilla Kelly doing the pepper challenge, and then like the eating a ghost pepper or some shit, and he threw up everywhere. It was disgusting.
Oh yeah, like, I don't think that type of stuff's made to be eaten in that way. Like, I'm sure there's people out there that genuinely enjoy it, but I think like overall, I don't get doing that. I mean, it'd be pretty funny if I did it. I'm gonna do it. Like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Like, someone get me a ghost pepper now. No, like I'm like the hot wings eating challenges and stuff like that, and I'm just like, this is like, I enjoy food. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I like food. I like to sit there and enjoy it, and like a little bit of spice makes it more enjoyable for me.
We need to get Malaysian Warlord Instagram stories doing the whole random challenge of the challenge du jour, where you just do the random jackass shit and then just give us the dope as fuck with the tattoo on your face. Like, it's got to happen now.
Yeah, like that's where my life is heading. Like, I've always tried to be like a prolific Instagram person. Like, my personal Instagram, like, I get a lot of hate mail from that from my actual friends who are just like, why do you do this every day of your life? And that's gonna trickle into the King Shahil Instagram eventually. But
it's all part of building a brand, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a brand I want to build. I don't want to, like, I love my man Superhuman, or is it Super
hummus. My
boy, I love his stuff, but that's not the content that I want to be putting out there. But
man,
like, mine will probably
his
be more
stuff
like,
is magical. I swear it's like a magical routine, because he does it exactly the same every way, and it enchants you.
Yeah, like,
dude is a witch.
He's a stunt man. Like, he's trained professional. So like, I respect that.
My whole gimmick is I only speak to Australian wrestlers, right? I reached out to him because I was like, I want to talk to this guy. I will break my gimmick for this dude and this dude alone. And he left me on red.
Oh, well, at least you got red.
Yeah, it's like it's not even a matter of he didn't see it. Like, motherfucker, I can see you saw my message.
Yeah, but like, that's like halfway there.
Halfway. Maybe he'll get back to me eventually. Maybe he just forgot. Like, he was gonna reply.
I've snuck into like so many DMs. Like, Kim K was copping them when she was single. Who else?
Watch out, Kanye.
I would not mess with my man's cut. Like, like, they've got their thing and they're like in love, so I'm gonna leave that. I'm also in a relationship at the moment. Forever.
Yeah, but you have a list, right? You have a list. Everyone has a list.
Oh yeah, but like, I don't even think she like gave me a red or a scene. So like, you got there,
Yeah.
And like, I hit up Kanye as well because I was like, hey bro, do you want to be a sick flex if you pay off all of my debt? Again, didn't even get a scene. So like, at least you got somewhere with him.
Can we get some King Shahil DM screenshots or something? Like, like, this is amazing.
Oh man, like, sometimes like, when I've had a few beer in my system or whatever, like, I'll just be watching Instagram stories, and if some like celebrity or something's on there, I'll just like message them just in case, like, I'm pretty sure like I was hella drunk in Las Vegas, and like I saw like 2 Chains or someone who was like, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be in that city in like a couple of days. Like, you wanna link up? We'll hang out, bro. Like, you can probably shout me lunch or some shit. My girl's gonna be there too. So, but like, I know you've got money. You flex so hard. Do you want to be a sick flex? Give me heaps of money. That'd be like, no rappers are doing that right now. No rich, but like, this is a fucking call out to any rich person out there. If you want to flex like to the biggest degree, in my mind, come and just pay off a bunch of my debt and like maybe buy me a new car or something. Because like, no one's done that. Like, you'll definitely make some noise for sure.
It's a unique way.
Yeah, like.
It's a unique opportunity that you're offering.
Yeah, if I was like a SoundCloud rapper or like someone who was like making hundreds just doing like that, like to the point you've got
stacks on
money.
Stacks on stacks.
And if someone slid into my DMs like, hey man, can I borrow $500? But you know what? Like, that, I throw that down the toilet and like, literally. So just have it. Don't even worry about getting me back. You know what? Have $2,000. Like, that's real flexing. Like, anyone can wear a fucking.
But then
Gucci
word
chain.
gets out,
Anyone.
though. Word gets out, though, right?
Yeah, but like obviously, like if I'm the first person it happens to, maybe like 10, 15 people will happen to, but then it'll just be like, oh, it's just another rapper fucking getting this guy out of a student loan, or like.
This would be amazing. Like, we just turn this into a trend.
But that's the thing. I thought of the idea, so really I should be first. And now this is like on record as saying that I thought of that. I'm sure other people have thought of it, but did they get on a platform where they can, I'm just a bit forward thinking.
So the real flexing is stop going to Jacobs, stop getting the chains.
Yeah, like you can still do that, but I feel like if you can afford a 50k chain, you can afford to pay off King Shahil's loans. But
don't do it with like a grant or a foundation.
No, just give it to me.
Just find someone randomly in your DMs.
Named King Shahil.
Yeah.
And just do it. Like, what's stopping you? Literally nothing. So just get. And like the exchange rate with the States right now is fucking insane. I didn't have any money when I was there because it was like, oh man, like $1 is worth like 17 of ours.
Right.
So it wouldn't even be that much compared to what they flex on.
Yeah. So look, if anyone's still listening to us at this point, while you were in America, I'm told you had a very special tryout.
It wasn't really a tryout. It was more of a seminar.
Okay.
Yeah. So I it was just like good timing. Like someone tweeted me or sent me a DM that Black and Brave, which is Marek Brave and Seth Rollins School, is doing a seminar in New Jersey.
Right.
And they just said, hey, you're going to be there at this time. And I was like, you know what? I actually am. So
sick.
I think I emailed them, like, because you have to do a bunch of stuff. So I emailed them all the stuff. And then the next day that they tweeted, like, oh, it's full. If you haven't heard back from us, you probably know. And I was like, oh, man. And then they emailed back saying a few people had dropped out. And if I was interested, they'd love to have me there. And yeah, that was a fun experience. Like,
because I got some notes here from your acquaintance, Mr. Mysterious. And he wanted me to ask you about learning from your close personal friend, Seth Rollins.
That's just fucking... So, like, anytime I meet someone who's, like, famous and people know about, and, like, people want to know about it, I'm just like, yes, that's my close personal friend. Like,
right, so, like, Superhuman left me on red. He's my close personal friend.
Oh, I don't know if that counts.
Oh, come on, man. Give me something.
Like, I guess, like, you can call him, like, your mate or something, but, like, close personal friend is different, yeah. Like, that's just, like, a joke, like, I had it, because, like, I wrestled Jeff Cobb, like last year, the year before.
Yeah.
And from that, like, everyone's like, oh man, how was it learning from him? I'm like, it wasn't so much learning because he's my close personal friend now. Just because, like, we had one if I have a conversation, like, someone's my close personal friend, like, you're my close personal friend now, you know?
Nice.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So obviously Seth Rollins is my close personal friend also. Like, I'm sure if you say, hey man, can you tell us about your close personal friend King Shahil? He'll be like, oh, who? Because he's just trying to protect my, like, privacy. So,
right. Yeah. He's all about that privacy.
Yeah. No, but that was a really cool experience. Like,
yeah.
Like, as everyone's like asking me about this stuff, and I just make a joke out of it, as if like, but like, it was really cool doing that. And I'm really grateful for that experience because I didn't lug my fucking gear all over the States for nothing. So
yeah, for sure. Well, that's the thing. No matter where you go, right, you gotta have your gear with you.
Yeah, that was fun going for like security and airports and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's just because like it was just there. Like I wasn't like, hey, why have you got this stuff? It's like I'm wrestling here. I was just like, that's just my stuff. Like I didn't have any matches.
That's just how I dress to go to the grocery store. You got a problem? Isn't this America?
Yeah, like you don't wear kick pads to bed, you fucking weirdo.
Land of the free my ass.
Yeah, it's like, my man, I need that ankle support in my life all the time. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I learned a fair bit in that class, and like, you know, like it was really cool, like being able to say like I had a match in front of these two really like renowned wrestlers in the world. But yeah, it was cool. Like I'd do it again. Like if my close personal friend wants to like have a checkup on me or whatever, that's cool.
Needs
It's
to
quite
fill,
funny.
needs to fill some spots.
Yeah, Jackson Kelly was there because he trained for Black and Brave school, and
Yes.
like when I started talking, like after my match and stuff, it was like, "Wait, where are you from?" I was like, "Australia," and like everyone's like, "Oh, he's from Australia. You guys know each other." It's like we looked at each other like, "No, we don't know." He's from Sydney. I'm from Perth. Like we couldn't be like it's East Coast, West Coast, man.
Yeah,
East Coast, West Coast.
That's the thing about foreigners. They don't understand how far away everything is in Australia.
Yeah, and like I didn't understand that about America. To be completely honest, like I've got like a few American friends, and like everyone I talk to at all, I was like, "Hey, man, do you know this guy?" They're like, "What?" What? They're from Oregon. It's like, bro, we're in LA. Like,
yeah, that's like different accents, different time zones.
Yeah,
yeah.
When you think about it, like you guys are a lot closer all the time than I am to being here. So really, you should know them.
Yes.
But yeah, it's quite rude when people think that of Australia. Actually, like we're a country. We have time zones, just like anyone else.
Yeah, yeah,
well,
and great vast distances between us.
Yeah, like
it makes it hard for both the music life and the wrestling life, right? Like because it's not like America where there's the towns, like you making towns, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that. There's literally like 4 or 5 big population hubs, and that's it.
Yeah, and like being in Perth kind of is the worst because like it's so far. Like I can't just drive. Like at least like within the East Coast, you can kind of, if you really wanted to, you could drive everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas to drive from Perth, like I think that would probably cost me more in fuel than it would to just fly or take a taxi. So yeah, it's like we're really
Perth and Adelaide. You can kind of drive,
like if you really wanted to.
Yeah, it's not
but
too bad.
Again, I would rather just get a plane ticket because, like, what are you going to spend on fuel? And like, if you
the
can't
plane
fill
tickets
up on...
to Perth and Darwin are so expensive. I've never understood it. I mean,
it's kind of bullshit. Like, there's really no explanation for it.
Can we not get some kind of subsidy for tourism to Perth and Darwin? Come on. Because I want to go check out shows, and then the tickets never. Like I can get a ticket to a flight to Melbourne for $30, but to go to Perth, no matter what, it's always going to cost me at least $200.
Yeah, like, and that's one way. Like return.
That's what I mean. Like one way, it's ridiculous.
You may as well just move here. Like it's cheaper. Yeah, that's another reason why I don't think I've really like just tried to come over interstate just on a whim.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like I need a plan. I need to get time off work. And
for sure. But second half of 2019, moving towards 2020, it is something you're looking to do?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, it's something, like, I've locked in my first interstate show, and, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a second one very soon, which, like, to me, that's, like, that's a dream. Like everyone's like, oh, the dream is to like do this, that, and stuff. But to me, like my short-term goal was always to do interstate stuff. And I feel like I was like one of those guys that's a bit like, oh man, why doesn't it happen earlier? Like everyone should know about me. It's just like I just needed an ego check of like I'm nothing at the moment. So like going over to the States and like it's like, literally no one's fucking heard of me. And it's like, that's not a bad thing. I'm not fucking entitled to everyone knowing who I am. But, like, it was like, I'm such a small fish in such a big pond. And everyone is. And, like, Australia in itself is becoming this ever-growing community. So I'd really like to start, like, taking what I can get. And, like, I've locked down, like, I'm super excited for this show and stuff because it's a company. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but, like, it's a company that I've been following a little bit lately. And, like, I think they're really doing some cool stuff and making some noise. So I'm excited to finally get over there and get a couple of extra days there because I've never actually been to Sydney. So
nice.
I took
see the
an
sights.
extra day off work. Yeah, I can't wait to see the opera house. Like, I'm sure I can figure out a funny photo for me to take there. Or, like, I don't know.
Yeah. The Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, all those things. Sydney.
Oh, yeah, they've got the bridge, too.
Yeah, that's the bridge. It's a very famous bridge, I'm told.
Yeah, I can't wait to... like look at it.
Take photos of it. Get on the ferry and take that photo that everyone takes.
You all got a ferry up there? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you take the ferry across to like Manly or whatever.
Oh shit. That's pretty cool. I can't wait. I was hoping to get like a tattoo there, so like that day that I've got extra, I'll probably do that instead. So.
Nice. A face tattoo? You're gonna get one permanently? Is that?
No, because then the gimmick's dead. Like that means like if I settle on one word, that's the intent I have to go into every match with, and like I don't want to make that commitment. What if I get love, and then I've literally got to go in there and be like, "Hey man, let's not fight. Let's not do it."
Yeah, so you don't want to kill the gimmick. But look, where can people find you? What shows do you have coming up, and that you can talk about? And where can people find you online? I mean, I have a million things here that I didn't even get to because of Mr. Mysterious's extensive note-taking and our ridiculous shit-talking. So we're going to have to get you back on at some point to talk about some more wrestling. But
yeah, we can make it a two-parter, like three-parter. I'll just become a permanent thing. The King Shahil half hour.
Yes.
And it's just me talking about like what I had for breakfast. So the next two New Horizons professional wrestling shows are Guardians of Wrestling, and that is on the 24th of this month, which I believe is August.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
Toa Hanare is coming down, right?
I'm super excited to see that guy in the flesh and in action because I'm a big New Japan guy, so
yeah,
it'll be cool to see him and whoever he takes on over here, I'm sure he's going to bring their best. And then after that, like I think it's like 2 weeks away is September 7th, and that's going to be an 18+ show at the Perth Mess Hall called Anti Everything, and we've got LAX and Su Young coming over for that one, so that's going to be a wild night.
LAX, the original LAX, right?
The OGs,
yeah,
the homies, yeah. And Steph Delander's coming over from Sydney for Guardians of Wrestling.
Yes.
She's a mate too. She's cool. But yeah, those are the two next shows. September 7th, Anti-Everything. I get my rematch for the Hybrid Championship against Jono Petreski. Like, I cannot wait to kick that dude in the head as hard as I fucking can.
Yeah.
God, I hate him so much. I support the Eagles. Like, I'm not a big football guy, but the fact that he's got that tattoo just like right on his chest, I don't know why, but I fucking hate it so much. I'm gonna punch him right in the Eagles tattoo.
Right, and so you're looking to get the hybrid title back, yeah?
Yeah, the hybrid championship, which, like, let's be honest, he doesn't really deserve that because he attacked me straight after one of my matches that I was already pretty tired from. Wasn't prepared for a second match. Then all of a sudden get kicked in the head and lose my title, which that's just not on.
When you defeat him and win it back, I don't want to insult you. When you defeat him and win it back, you'll be the first ever 3-time champ in company history.
I just learned that also. That's sick.
Yeah. These are the kind of extensive notes that our good acquaintance Mr. Mysterious has for us.
Mr. Mysterious. I actually did know. I knew that, but like I forgot about it up until that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know your selling points, man. Come on.
Yeah. I'll cut a promo tomorrow, something. Yeah, and that'd be cool because like when I first went to a New Horizons show, I don't like it's not the top heavyweight belt in our company, but that's the one I wanted because I thought it looked cool.
Right.
I was like, oh, that'd be great for my aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then like being able to hold it twice.
It's an important
really
thing.
Cool.
It's an important thing.
Yeah, and like our company's got like colored belts, which I think is cool. It's very different. You know, we've got the Warrior Rising, which is yellow, the SST tag team titles, which are green, and then our Art of Fighting, the top belt is blue, and the hybrid is white, and then we've got the Indie Girls, which is red. So we've got some different colored stuff.
Yeah,
and white goes with a lot.
Yeah, it does.
It's when they had the
it's versatile. You don't have to change your tights too much. Like, you can just be whatever you want.
And until Elon Musk pays off all my money problems, then I can't afford to get a new pair of gear made for every show. So, like,
yes.
If you're listening, let's get onto that because I'd really like to be able to match.
Elon Musk is one of our regular listeners, along with Tony Khan as well. So if you want to get signed, make your plea.
Yeah, do it, man. Like, it'd be a real big flex for you to sign King Shahil from Perth, Western Australia, who's only been wrestling for about 5 years. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
not many other people.
And then I'll slide in your DMs and ask you to pay off my debts, and that's how we'll get there. All right, sweet, man.
I just feel like an everlasting cycle of everyone, and then all of a sudden the banks are closed because all the debts paid off. That's how we're gonna get them, guys. It starts with me.
This is how communism actually is supposed to work.
Yeah.
All right.
I get it. Yeah. And I wish
We've
that
cracked
the rest
it.
of the world, like, stop worrying about what shape the Earth is and what gender Kurt Cobain was. These are the problems that can be solved.
King Shahil's debts.
King Shahil's debt.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being in a band well. I remember the debt.
Yeah. Oh, it's because I went on holiday too hard.
When's your next gig as well with Idolize?
Idolize is playing on August 17th at Amplifier Bar. We're playing with a band called Fever Mind, who are new kids on the block, but they are sick. Like, if you like your Citizen stuff, check them out. Old Devil, who are like good mates of ours, and headlining is a band called Fade Away, who are releasing an EP.
Awesome.
And those guys are awesome as well. They're very up the Citizen, Title Fight, Balance and Composure Alley, and I love all those bands. I can't wait to play that show.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you? What's your social handles for you, for the band, etc.?
Yeah, so you can find Idolize on Instagram at, I believe it's idolize_AU or Idolize AU. And then just Idolize on Facebook. There is another Idolize from Canada. That is not us. We did not release a song called Tokyo Rose, so stop asking.
Okay.
And then King Shahil on Facebook at King Shahil Wrestling. My Gmail is also kingshahilwrestler@gmail.com if any promoters want to slide in there.
Yeah, if we want to get that Nick Golfus or that Eman match happening.
Yeah. Get in there, guys. Like, you know what? Let's stop this trend of me emailing you first. You email me now. I'll get into this. I'll slide into DMs. King Shahil at King Shahil on Instagram, which is where I do most of my content.
Yeah.
I'm also on Twitter at King Shahil 2 because King Shahil 1's taken. And I was like, I don't know, like, who do you think you are, man? Like, just some dude from, like, America who just posts pictures of him, like, drinking beer. It's like, no one cares, bro. Like, you're not King Shahil. I'll eat you.
So we can get a King Shahil versus King Shahil match next time you're in America, too.
Yeah, and he doesn't even wrestle, so it'd be even better for my lifestyle.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I love what you guys at the B Plus are doing. I think that's great for moving forward and growing the Australian scene.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
No worries.
So there you have it. King Shahil, frontman for Idolize. Once again, definitely check them out if you're into hardcore, emo, that sort of, punk music-infused genre. Definitely check them out. He is a fantastic vocalist, man. It's very, very aggressive, very in your face, and I'm a big fan of Idolize and, of course, King Shahil, the wrestler. Get out and check him out at shows. That's what it's all about. If you liked that interview and you like other Aussie Grappler interviews, the big one to check out this week is Loverboy Lockie Hendricks, out of character, doing a shoot-style interview with On the Turnbuckle. And look, I mean, I don't view what we do as competition, right? We are all in this together, building this scene. But I would have said in the past, on my best day and on their best day, I put out the better interviews. That has changed. This interview is, for my money, the best Australian wrestling interview I have ever heard. I really enjoyed getting inside the mind of Lockie Hendricks. Hats off to the On the Turnbuckle boys for landing, securing, and delivering on this huge interview. Definitely worth checking it out. If you haven't listened to it, pause, go listen to it, and then come back and I'll tell you what's happening near you this weekend. Okay, you're back. How good was that fucking interview? Loverboy Lockie Hendricks, what a mind. I cannot wait to see what his announcement is, where he's going next, what he's going to be doing. Australian wrestling will miss Loverboy Lockie Hendricks. I stand by that. What an interview that was. Thanks for pausing and going to listen to it, because the On the Turnbuckle boys are good friends of mine, and that interview was straight fucking fire. And what else will be straight fire? AWA Homecoming 6 this weekend, Queensland, on Saturday night at Kedron Wavell Services Club Get out to AWA Homecoming. They've got all sorts of talent flying in. They're doing a rematch with Kellyanne and Jessica Troy. They have one of my match of the year candidates for Australian wrestling so far this year with their match at Wrestling Go. Definitely going to be worth checking out. You've also got AJ Istria versus Gino Gambino for the first time. It's going to be a huge show. AWA Homecoming 6, Kedron Wavell Services Club. Get out and support it. In New South Wales, on Friday night, we have Suplex Pro Wrestling Explicit Wrestling at Newcastle Leagues Club. Then on the 10th, that's Saturday, we have Hoos Party, Full Hoos at the House of Free Fighting, and Rock and Roll Wrestling in Wollongong at City Diggers. Get out and check those shows out. More information is available on the Facebook pages. In Victoria, on the 9th and 10th, that is Friday and Saturday, respectively, PCW hold their regular Slam and Ignition shows at the Southeastern Entertainment Centre. Also tonight, APW Breakout. And tomorrow, Saturday night, the 10th, Warzone Wrestling, August Unleashed at the Warzone Arena in Mulgrave. And over in Western Australia, on Saturday night, Southern Hemisphere Wrestling Alliance, Schwa, we're all mad here at Armadale Arena. Get out and check it out, guys. Check out the Facebook for more information. It's going to be a huge show. There's lots of shows happening this weekend. For my money, the best show to get to. If you're in Queensland, man, AWA Homecoming looks like an amazing show. Definitely get out and check it out. And if you want to hear more about Queensland wrestling before you get out to check it out, if you're a Queenslander and you're not too familiar with the scene, you can go back. I had an extended interview last week with Todd Eastman of Wrestle Radio Australia where we cover a lot of stuff about Queensland wrestling. Definitely go check that out as well. And that's what it's about, man. It's about getting out to the shows, supporting the boys and girls who do the damn thing called Australian Professional Wrestling. Aussie Grapps, buy a shirt, cheer the good guys, boo the bad guys. You know how it works. If you want to support us here at the B+, if you want to support what we're doing, you can do so at patreon.com/the B+. You can also support our sponsors. That's a great way to support us indirectly. But if you want to support us directly, the best way to do it is on the Patreon. You can also find us on social media. I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestling on Twitter because Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.